Good day, everybody. I hope that you are well and also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today, we'll be doing our grade 3 to 5 lesson on regular past tense. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once you've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of English Language Arts, grade 3 to 5, and then we're going to scroll down up until we get to our chapter of regular past tense. All right, so regular past tense, right, is a continuation of our previous lesson. So, regular past tense is a continuation of our previous lesson. So, today we are going to continue with our lesson on regular past tense. And we said that with regular past tense, right, we have when we, for example, change our word from a present tense verb, present tense to a past tense, right? And then we either add d or we add an ed to show that it is in the past tense. All right, so we see that with regular past tense, right? Regular past tense is a continuation of what we did in our previous test, a previous lesson. And in our previous lesson, we had to identify verbs in the regular past tense. So today, our chapter is regular past tense. Our subject is English Language Arts, grade 3 to 5. And the lessons that we are going to be focusing on is which sentence is in the regular past tense, and to form and use the regular past tense. So that is going to be our chapter, regular past tense, and our lessons, which sentence is in the regular past tense, and to form and use regular past tense. All right. So when it comes to the regular past tense, right, the past tense usually tells about something that has happened already. And in order for us to form the regular past tense, we need to start with the base form of the verb. Then, after we have formed the base forms of the verb, then we follow these rules. And the rules is that most of our verbs we add an ed to the base form of the word. And if the word ends with an e, then we just add a d. All right. So we said that in the past or the past tense, it tells us about something that has already happened. And in order for us to form the regular past tense, we need to start with the base word or the base form of the verb, and then we need to follow these specific rules. And that is for most verb, we add an ed to the base form of the verb, or just d if the word ends with an e. And an example is walk. All right. All right. So walk in the past, we can say I walked. So walk is now, and in the past, it is walked. And if we look at another example, right, it says they walked to school last Friday. They walked to school last Friday, which means that if we were to identify or to select our regular past tense, then we would say it is walked. And as you can see, it ends with an ed. All right. So remember we said that when it comes to regular past tense, and then we need to follow these rules, and the rules is to add ed to the base form of the word, or d if the word ends with an e. So if the base form ends in e, like we said, we add a d, right? For example, bike, and then in the past we can say biked. Or another word would be dance. But in the past, we can say danced. You see, your the word dance ends with an e, and then we just add a d. All right. So we said that we have bike and biked, right? So we can say that they biked to school last Friday. They biked to school last Friday. All right. So now if we look at another word, so with also regular past tense, right? With regular past tense, it is basically like we say we follow the rules where we either add an ed. So we have words like jumped, and we have words like danced, And we have words like walked and talked and looked, right? Those are a regular past tense, right? And like we say, they bike or biked. So we can say they biked to school last Friday. And if we identify our past tense verb, and then biked is our past tense verb. And if the base form ends with a Y, right? So if the base form ends with a Y, we need to change the Y to an I, add ed, right? And an example is hurry, and in the pairs, I hurried. And as you can see, the Y is gone. The Y was substituted with the I, and we added ed, hurried. And they hurried to school last Friday. So we have hurried. And if the base form ends with a short vowel and a consonant, we double the consonant and we add ed. So, for example, jog, right? Jog. And if we were to, for example, show that in the past tense, then jogged. And this is where we double the word in the middle. Like the last word, we doubled. So, jogged. They jogged to school. Right, so these are our regular past tense, and we said our regular past tense usually tells us about something that has already happened. And to form our regular past tense, we need to start with the base form of the verb, and then we follow the rule, which is that we add an ed to most of our regular past tense verbs. So we add an ed to the base form of the word. And then also one of the rules, one few more rules is that if the base form ends in E, we add a D. If the base form ends in a consonant Y, we change the Y to an I and we add ED. All right. So now we're going to a+students.ca, and then we're going to continue with our lesson on regular past tense, and then we're going to our test. And when we are by a+students.ca, we're going to say which is in the regular past tense. So we said some of our words, it ends with an ed, some words end with a d, and it depends on the specific word, right? And how it changes. And if we look at the this example, right, or this activity, it says which sentence is in the past tense? It says Haley studied at her desk. Haley studied at her desk. So if we look at the word studied, is this word studied? All right, so we said that if we were to say this is in the past tense, then yes, we would say Haley studied at the desk. Because remember, we said that in one of our rules, if a a word ends with a Y, if we want to show it in the past tense, if we want to write it in the past tense, then it means that we then need to replace or remove the Y, add the I and the ed to show the past tense. So Haley studied at her desk. So that is in the past tense. So yes. All right. Which sentence is in the past tense? The rainbow amazed her. Is this in the past tense? The rainbow amazed her. All right, so let's go to our test where we are going to say which is the regular past tense. It says which sentence is in the past tense? Henry clapped his hands, or option 2, Russell will complete the test. Henry clapped his hands, or option 2, Russell will complete the test. And if we were to select the past tense, which sentence is in the past? Option 1 or option 2? I think I started last year, May. I started last year, May. So just over a year, going in for 2 years now. So that is how long I've been doing it. All right, so we can say Henry clapped his hands. Right, so well done. Option 1 is correct. The woman curls her hair, Or option two, the dog dragged the kite. So option one, the woman curls her hair. Or option two, the dog dragged the kite. So the woman curls her hair, option one. Or option two, the dog dragged the kite. We need to choose the regular past tense. All right, and if we were to select the sentence that's in the past tense, then yes, we will choose option B. The dog dragged the kite. So well done. Well done. Option two is correct. The God allowed us in, or option two, Anna or Anne will earn the money. So the God allowed us in, or do we say Anne will earn the money? All right, so we can say, if we were to say which sentence in the past tense, is it option one or option two? The God allowed us in, or Anne will earn the money. And if we were to select the correct past tense, we would say it is option one. So well done. The God allowed us in. And if we were to choose the sentence that's in the past tense, we're going to say Carrie dipped brushes into paint. The clown amused us. Option one, or I often borrow Kayla's pen. Which sentence is in the past tense? Option one that says the clown amused us, or option two where we say I often borrow Kayla's pen. All right, and if we were to choose the correct option, we would say the clown amused as option one. So well done. All right, so now we're going on to the next one where we are going to form and use regular plurals, right? A regular past tense, sorry. It says, so the past tense usually tells us about something that has already happened. And in order for us to form the regular past tense, we need to start with the base form of the verb, then follow the rules of either adding ed, a d if your word ends with an e, ies or ied, sorry, ied, and that is to show that your answer is in the past tense. All right. So now it says, before we go on to our test, we need to complete the sentence with the verb in the past tense. It says, at the beach, Eva and Duncan. Do we say carve their names in the water and sand or carved? All right. So basically, what we just have to do is we just have to replace that word with another word. So, like in this case, if we were to put that word in the past tense, then it is carved instead of carve, right? Yes, well done. Carved. Because remember, we just added ed to our word, or in this case, we just added a d. We do we say over here we divide the extra cookies amongst the three of us, or we say we divided the extra three cookies amongst the three of us. What do we say? So do we say we divide the extra cookies amongst the three of us, or we divided? Sorry, this is a D. All right, and if we were to choose the correct one, then yes, we would say divided. So we, because remember we are still doing the past tense, so we divided the extra cookies amongst the three of us. Well done. Divided is correct. Let's look at the last one and then we go into the test. It says the friends marbles with the friends. Do we say the friends trade? Do we say the friends trade marbles with one another? Or do we say they traded marbles with one another? Do the friends trade marbles with one another or they traded? All right. So now we're going on to our test where we are going to say we're going to form and use regular past tense. Yes, it is. This is the last test. We need to complete the sentence with the verb in the past tense. It says, on warm evenings, do we say we dine outside or we dined outside? right, so we are now going to complete the sentence with the verb in the past tense. It says, on warm evenings, we dine outside or dined outside. And if we choose the correct one, we said option two, dined outside, because we are still using the past tense. So well done. Tammy's parents, do we say allow her to stay up late or allowed her to stay up late? What is the correct answer? All right. And if we were to choose the correct option, we can say Tammy's parents allowed, which is option two, allowed her to stay up late. Yes, well done. All right, let's do the last one and then we are done. The friends, do we say trade marbles with one another or traded marbles with one another? And if we were to choose the correct one, we would say traded marbles with one another. All right, so this is now the end of our lesson, grade threes, on regular past tense. Thank you very much for joining the class. Our regular past tense, it is where we add either a D or we add an ED to our specific verb, and that will the it will show the past tense form, right? All right, so this is the end of the lesson. Thank you very much for joining the class. Thank you for interacting, and I really hope that you're going to have a good evening further. Goodbye.